My question is to the Attorney General.
I beg your pardon. Please, I do apologise to the Honourable Member Paul Quinn. I have made a complete error on my part. Question number 5, the Honourable Annette King, with my apologies.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Social Development and Employment. Does she agree with all the recent comments by her Associate Minister, the Honourable Tariana Turia?
Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, I do 99.9% of the time.
The Honourable Annette King.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. When her Associate Minister Tariana Turia claimed on Radio New Zealand on Tuesday that, quote, at the last minute we were given a copy of the reforms, that makes it really difficult to have an input into them, end quote, was she given a copy of the proposed benefit reforms called Future Focus announced last week, or a copy of the Social Service 2008 National Party Manifesto?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, as quite clearly identified over the last few days, it's a policy we've been working on over a long time. It was our manifesto that we obviously went into the election with. There's been many different versions of it as it went through the normal process that it goes through. So she's seen the manifesto, she's seen the proposal at the end that was the past one. She saw many copies of that in between as well.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable
Mr Speaker, I made that a very precise question. I asked when the Minister said that she was given a copy of the policy with very little, with only a few minutes, the last minute. I asked her whether it was a copy of the proposals announced last week, or was it a copy of the National Party Manifesto?
Speaking to the point of order.
Speaking to the point of order, the Honourable Paula
and
Bennett.
as I pointed out, there's been many different versions that the Minister has seen. I can't possibly make a comment on which one she was talking about at that time.
It seems, I've got to say, point of order is being considered. It seems a reasonable answer to that question, because while the member says it was a precise question, I mean, if one takes the question in its totality, there's no really specific answer to that, given the various versions that the Minister explained exist of the policy. It's a difficult one for her to answer any more precisely. Supplementary question.
When she stated in Parliament on Tuesday that the policy had been through the normal process many times, including consultation with the Maori Party on the 16th of February, well after her Associate Minister returned to work, was she consulting on proposals agreed in principle by Cabinet on the 14th of December?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
And other developments since then, Mr Speaker. I mean, you can cut and slice this however you like. There's no great conspiracy theory. The reality is that there's an immense amount of respect and admiration for me, for Minister Turia, as I think she has in return. And I think the work we're doing for children and whānau in this country is going to be better than we've seen in many, many years.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Annette King.
What was her response to her Associate Minister Tariana Turia's statement on the 15th of January, issued considerably earlier than she said that she'd returned to work, stating that she intended to challenge the Minister and seek a meeting with her in January to go over the proposed benefit changes because the changes had not been discussed with her? And did this meeting take place?
Mr Speaker, I think as Minister Turia mentioned yesterday, she had been away for some time, so no, there hadn't been a meeting with her previous to that conversation. You're obviously quoting from the 15th of January. But what I say, Mr Speaker, is it's a relationship that is healthy, that is dynamic, that we have conversations, we challenge different stages of the portfolio, and I think that's a positive thing.
I'm sure it's of great interest what the relationship is, but actually that's not what the member asked. The member asked specifically what the Minister's response was to a document, an alleged document of 15 January, if I remember the question correctly, from the Associate Minister Tariana Turia, and what was the Minister's response to that particular document. Now, given the primary question, the member may not have that information available today, but I think some attempt to answer that would be helpful to the House rather than an explanation about the wider relationship.
I think, Mr Speaker, what I heard was a quote that she was giving from a radio interview, I presume, or something, not a particular paper at that time, and I was merely giving to the crux of the relationship, which I think is what this whole conversation is about. I don't think the papers will be running a special edition on the conspiracies of the Labour Party, on the relationships that we have with the Maori Party.
The Honourable Annette King.
In light of the obvious confusion about the meaning of consultation with her Associate Minister, can she guarantee that the recent consultation has sorted out that there will be no preferential treatment in whānau ora as promised by the Prime Minister? There will be around $1 billion available for the policy as indicated by Tariana Turia, and that TPK will be running whānau ora as implied by the Minister of Māori Affairs.
Speaker, the only people I'm hearing that are confused about consultation is the other side of this House.
Question number 6. On this occasion, Paul Quinn.